I grew up surrounded by a loving, far good friends, an ordinary family, and an ordinary term of my looks, academic and sporty think. I was very fortunate to have people around me. Maybe that's why I have a tendency to trust people too much. Because of this, I often hear people naive or mystical. This story is about my pathetic mother who bullied a trusting daughter-in-law. My name is Mary. I'm 31 and work as salesperson. My husband, Jake, and I just got married, so I still feel like a new wife.
Let's have a baby.
I used to say, but honestly, I was just enjoying our newlywed life. Jake's parents were still together, about a 20-minute ride from our apartment. Diane, Jake's mom, used to invite us at the house, and we enjoyed a family dinner together. My friends were worried that I was going to my in-laws' house every month. But Tom, Jake's dad, was a good cook, and Diane was sweet, so it wasn't bothersome for me. Besides, Diane seemed to prefer working alone in the kitchen. So I was always treated like a guest to happily join aperitifs with Jake until the dinner was served. It was easier than preparing dinner. One thing that concerned me. That day, we were again at the in-laws for a family dinner. But when I tasted the chicken soup, I groaned involuntarily.
What's wrong, Mary?
Jake looked at me curiously.
Oh, that. Interesting. I've never had celery chicken soup at my parents', so I thought it was interesting. It's delicious, Diane.
Is it? Thank you. There's plenty more.
Oh, great.
I struggled to smile back at Diane, looking happy. One more bowl of this soup could shoot up your blood pressure. That's how salty the chicken soup was. I glanced at Jake Tom, but he was enjoying his soup. This is the normal taste of home them. That day, too, I accepted. I forced myself to eat up the soup, which contained so much sodium that it could have dissolved. Apparently, my in-laws seemed to like little flavors. Diane's cooking was as salty as seafood and as sweet as condensed milk. The first time I tried it, I almost out, but the other members of the FAR are just as normal as any other day. I was astonished with their preferred flavoring. I felt bad leaving food, so I usually eat it all. But it was too much that used to get upset. The impact of consuming such an intense food on a daily basis can be detrimental to one's health. I had consulted with my nutritionist and had been collecting recipes and pamphlets, but there was no way a new daughter could say no to her mother.
Your cooking is too rich in flavor. Modify recipes.
By the way, my home cooking was exactly seasoned according to the recipe. I thought it was flavorless for Jake. I used to ask him, "Is it good?" constantly, every time I did.
Whatever you cook is delicious.
He replied sweetly. But if he grew up eating such rich food, how could he believe he was being honest? Regardless, I prioritized our health and cooked with normal seasonings. Then there was one more thing that Diane served staled food. The rolls of bread on my plate were hard ones, sometimes partially rotten fruits with 6 for dessert. I discreetly removed the parts I cut out, but I was worried that my in-laws might get food poisoning soon enough.
Cookies for your snack, Mary.
Those cookies Diane gave me were excellent about 6 months ago. Jake realized and
Mom, those cookies are expired.
alerted. Diane replied,
I know, I'm so careless.
was relieved when she laughed. But then I shivered when I found the cookie crumbs mixed in a snack bag she had left on the next visit. I have seen this symptom before, the time my grandma got dementia.
What to do?
Diane's still in her 50s. I doubted that she had dementia. I wanted to discuss with Jake about rich flavored foods and Diane's memory loss. Maybe a sign of dementia. But I was too afraid that it was too late. Then one day, a small miracle happened. I became pregnant.
I'm finally going to be a dad. Is it a boy or a girl?
Jake stroked my belly every day with excitement.
When are we going to tell our parents? Should we wait until the end of first trimester?
Well, doctor only confirmed the heartbreak I had been feeling for months. But I want them to help me in case happens, so I'll tell them after the checkup.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I can't wait to tell everyone. I think my mom's gonna cry when she hears this.
I imagined Diane congratulating me in her eyes. I felt warmth in my heart. I had been so excited about my long pregnancy that many things had slipped out of my mind. The following weekend, when I saw chicken soup on the table, I finally that there was a big problem. If I eat her overly seasoned food, it will affect my baby. The pregnancy books I'd been reading. High blood pressure and diabetes car the continuation of pregnancy, and stale breads and all the other things that might be expired could be okay for me, but it may affect my baby. The thought made me anxious, so I started eating.
Oh, no, Mary, you haven't eaten at all. I hope it wasn't too bad for your taste.
Diane looked at my plate and frowned.
No, it's not that.
She is tired and doesn't have much appetite.
Jake thought it was morning sickness and rushed to save me.
I see. Are you working too hard, Mom? Don't push yourself too much.
Thank you.
Tom was kind, but Diane's face remained unchanged. I felt guilty for leaving the food to them. After everyone else had finished their meal, it was time to clear up. Diane offered me a large brownie with cream on top, along with a cup of tea.
Have some sweets at least. I'm sure it'll relax you.
Thank you so much.
What a thoughtful person. I thought I would at least have a bye lately. I get heartburn after eating. I saw that Jake got a smaller piece without cream. I whispered to Jake so that Diane CC hear from the kitchen.
Jake, can I switch with yours?
Oh, sure.
He gladly passed me his plate, and I took a tiny piece with my fork. It was moist and soft. I put it in my mouth and downed with.
Mom, this brownie is a bit hard.
Jake had cut his pizza in half, and when he put it in his mouth,
No.
Diane screamed as she burst out of. My heart skipped a beat at the sudden. Jake looked equally puzzled when he took the brownie out of his hand.
Why are you having Mary's brownie? I gave it to her.
Doesn't matter who eats it.
Yes, it does. This one is outdated.
What?
An unexpected bombshell silenced us. Confused by her revelation, I asked.
That brownie was old?
My words didn't ease the situation. Instead, it only confirmed that there was malice in Diane's action.
In other words, my mom was trying the staleness. Isn't it right, Mom? I mean, by adding an ice cream on top.
Jake asked Diane without any emotion. The calmness of his rage made him all the more fearsome. Diane seemed to know. She was quickly trying to make things.
No, that's not it. It's old, but it's big and still tastes good. Mary wants to have it.
Then why did you so forcefully stop eating it? You gave it to Mary even though it was not safe to eat.
No way.
Even as a slow learner finally read, I felt a shiver run down my spine.
Well, meaning, you've been feeding me stale food, giving me expired snacks. All was intentional, wasn't it?
What's going on, Mom?
Tom was glaring at Diane like a devil.
No, not on purpose. I just happened to have some leftovers, so I didn't want to waste them. So I gave to Mary.
That's what you called on purpose. I can't think of any good reason to someone else eat bad food that you wanted.
But she's not really our family. She's an outsider, so why not give her some food, right?
You came into our family, but you have been treated like that.
No, but I can help you with that.
Diane was banging on the table in pat. As I watched her, my heart dropped. There was no sign of Diane, who I like a lot. I was deeply disappointed and wondered if it had all been an illusion. As much as I believed she was a kind person, I felt even more disgusted. Now that I knew I had been betrayed, I looked like a distressed demon. Then there was one more thing that me. Was it all her malice? Could it be that you're not using the right keywords in your search? Is it intentional that all your food is so intense?
What?
Tom Jake were aghast. Diane's expression said, "Oh, shoot." With a devil-like expression, Jake G. bowl of chicken soup.
Don't, Jake.
Ignoring Diane's cry, Jake took a step back. Then he spat it out.
Ewie, it's like salt water.
Tom, too, tried a side dish. I didn't scowl.
Mary, did you always eat up this food?
Yes. I thought this was the normal here. You and Jake ate it too, didn't you?
That's because ours was normal.
I see.
So that's how it was. Seeing me realize all that Jake She drooped as if he had lost all his soul.
But how could you not realize it was something more than just the bad flack? She was even giving you expired snacks.
Because I thought she had gotten depressed.
Diane's mouth twitched. A daughter-in-law who she hated thought her mother-in-law was only in her 50s, had dementia, and even pitied was a huge insult to her. How pathetic.
You're so sweet. You put up with her because thou was sick.
Jake assured me with a soothing voice.
On the other hand, you, Mom,
That's right. I don't even want to know you were such a good girl who trusted you so.
Tom, Jake sighed.
I never thought Diane was that kind of person either. That's why I've consulted many people. Like, Diane's taste buds are off and worried about her health. Diane is still in her 50s, but showing dementia symptoms.
Her expression changed quickly. She never thought that her misdeeds spread.
Like my parents, my friends, people I work with. Oh, they were all helpful. They gave me all kinds of tips. And here,
I pulled pamphlets out of my bag and them up. I had been carrying them around with intention of talking to Tom Jake. I never thought it would come handy way.
wow, you were really worried about.
The men unfolded the pamphlets as I was moved by my action. Of course, Diane was upset.
You're terrible. I'm not sick.
It's you who are terrible. Unlike you, she has a pure heart so sincerely concerned about you.
Shut up, shut up. I didn't like her from the beginning.
She became defiant. She pointed and glared at me like a...
My beloved son was taken away by a dumb-faced woman like her. She didn't even notice the harassment. Are you that dumb? I wish for a successful career that makes me proud to walk around in public.
Diane, you're an idiot if you don't see what a great woman Jake married.
You are being fooled by her.
What's up with that?
In front of my eyes, my in-laws were having a fierce argument. Oh, seriously, I was hated by Diane. Even though I knew in my head it was to be insulted by someone I trusted. As I slumped, Jake whispered,
Why didn't you tell me before our... If I had known that you were coming, I would have cleaned up.
Jake, 1A.
Diane looked hopeful. Her eyes said, I know it. He's on.
If I had known, I would have cut ties.
Ignoring Diane's despair, Jake held in his arms.
I'm sorry, Mary. I didn't realize how much crap you threw.
Jake, I'm sorry too. I didn't recognize her hideous enter sooner.
He was tedious.
Diane's eyes twitched. She had never expected to be told that by me, whom she had always looked down upon.
I married you because you're so pure-hearted. Don't worry, we'll never come here.
Wait, Jake, I won't allow it.
You're a terrible mother.
Are you a child?
She looked at my belly. Now she knows. If she had noticed earlier, her appetite would have been better. It might have had a different outcome. She was too preoccupied with her schoolwork to notice.
Let's go, Mary.
I took the hand Jake offered and stepped slowly.
Wait, I'm sorry. Jake, it was just a small indiscretion.
Diane was rushing to grab him, but Jay dismissed her coldly.
I'm not the one you should be apologizing to.
Diane glanced at me. Her eyes were full of disgust. I didn't want to forgive someone who obviously carried a grudge against me. So I opened my mouth before she could say anything.
I can no longer trust you for the real life. I can't let such a person be with my child. Goodbye.
Diane collapsed in anguish. We left without batting an eye, with seeing us off. We would never come here again. It's strange for me to say this, but if only Diane could have cherished our relationship, she could have lived a happy life as a grandmother, surrounded by her grandchildren. What a fool I was to believe that you would ever love me. Later, when I told my parents and they gave me their support, you finally realized they were either stunned or relieved. Everyone but me was apparently being bullied, but they couldn't tell me because I was truly worried about Diane. At least they were listening to me collecting pamphlets, so that I could prove when I finally one day I felt ashamed and embarrassed that was burning. In fact, thanks to the large amount materials that everyone had given to, I was able to prove that I had been concerned. Thanks to them, Jake and Tom were on my side. I realized once again that I had been truly blessed by the people around me. About 2 years later, I've been busy taking care of my lid. Today is his first birthday. Birthday cake, fried chicken, and sun stuff. I'm hard at work preparing dishes I accustomed to making. Jake has been a great dad by playing son and changing his diaper. In the middle of it, I get a call from my friend. He is invited to the birthday party. I picked up the phone without hesitation, thinking he might have something to say.
Hello, Mary.
The caller, whose sweet voice is checking my mood, is, of course, not a robot. Even after 2 years, I still know its diary. After we cut ties, we moved away from her and only told Tom. I also blocked Diane's phone number, my number erased from her phone as, thanks to Jake Tom being shields, I didn't get her unwelcome visit at hospital when I gave birth. I've been able to live a really peace. And now she wants to ruin that. Just the thought of her on the phone. I get goosebumps.
Where's Tom?
He's in the bathroom right now. Hey, isn't it your grandson's birthday?
I don't think Tom told her, but she must have noticed him preparing gifts. Jake sensed something is wrong from a voice. He gestures to take over the phone, worried look on his face, but I give him a thumbs up. I continue the call. I am, too, a mother now. An innocent, lovely wife is a thing of the past.
Listen, Mary, I seriously feel bad about what happened to you. I was wrong to do such mean things. I regret very much. So I want to see my grandson soon. See? Okay?
Well, I don't want you to hide behind the toys. No, thank you.
No, I would not do such a horrible thing.
I mean, you fed me all this disgusting stuff.
You're exaggerating. It wasn't that bad, was it?
Too much salt, sugar mold, too much of it would have destroyed my health.
But, I mean it. I really regret. I'm sure you're kind enough that you understand.
You're right. I am often told that kind of thing.
Yes, you are.
But it's not that I'm kind. I'm just naive and trust people too. If someone betrays me, I will never them again. So You will never gain my trust, Eve, and I will not forgive you.
Wait, Mary.
Hey, what are you doing?
I can hear Tom Diane yelling at Ia on the other end of the phone. I quietly press the end button.
Sorry for that, but you're getting married.
Jake sighs in relief. He places his hands on my shoulder in encouragement.
Of course, I'm his mother.
My son looks content, lying in his sit. When he sees me, he flutters his wings happily. In response, I pick him up and rub against his. His body is small and soft. His mouth has a slight scent of milk. His dark eyes reflect in me. The presence of my son gives me of protective maternal feelings. For my son, I can be an angel or I've outgrown my gentle but naive W.
Oh, it smells so good.
It's about time the birthday cake was put into the oven.
My innocent son happily replies, to which we smile broadly. The days when I was oblivious to the of others, I was carefree and happy. But that was because of the people who protected me. So now it is my turn to protect my. I am determined to become stronger and more resilient. These happy days would continue for some time.